Welcome back to Crown's Crypto Cave, and yes, hello, happy Sunday. You made it all the way to Sunday. It's an early morning for me. I just woke up, saw the prices, and said, oh, fuck it, I need to go stream right now. So recording this video a little bit early in the morning, so forgive me if I'm a little bit uncaffeinated. However, my God, Bitcoin absolutely relentless in this sell-off over here. And this is why we say, or at least why I say, I'm never looking to buy a quote-unquote capitulation. A lot of people thought that we just saw capitulation right over here. Nope, absolutely not. We spoke about a lot of reasons why that wasn't, and I'm sure that we'll cover it again today and what to look for. But overall, I'm only looking for places to close shorts, which I've actually have not. Just kind of do the daily rounds on the daily checkup on my streamer account right here. Still holding a short from 6,300, and it's like the gift that keeps on giving. Just Christmas morning, every goddamn morning. Gotta love it. Anyways. Okay, so let's get to some actual charts over here. And again, because it's Sunday, we'll be focusing on more long-term ideas. So as always, you know, the biggest area to be aware of, actually on both sides, it's 6,100. The area that we broke down from, kind of leading up into this area, the area that really was the impetus for saying, okay, it's time to go, baby. And all those bear wet dream fantasies are about to become very real. Now, by the same token, as long as we're below there, I'm very bearish, actually. So if Bitcoin were to actually close a higher level dildo above there, you know, whether daily, weekly, whatever it might be, that's where I really start to consider, okay, I think that we have seen the lows. So again, 6,100, that amazingly important area going forwards now, as that is our breakdown point. Just as simple as that, you know, a very simple chart guy's definition probably, or I don't know, they're probably just still saying the bears need lower lows and the bulls need to they need to buy something. They need to do something, man. Bulls nowhere to be found. The bears are in full control right now. Okay, so obviously we had this kind of stutter step area right here. Look, just like my silly voice sometimes. And then we broke down to this range right over here, where I was actually looking for a little bit of a bounce right here. But again, as I said, I don't buy in bear markets. I look to close shorts in bear markets. And as you can see, this is what can happen when you have too much indecision. We spoke about on the 12-hour yesterday that your welcome was about to be worn out if you spent any more time going sideways. And again, when you put 3 doji dildos in a row, typically in my experience, you get more of the same. Essentially, you get more of the same. So what does that mean? Well, it just means that, you know, the former trend takes over and we go further down. Now we are starting to print, you know, if you are looking at RSI over here, which again, your oscillators need to be interpreted in a very unique way over here. I know a lot of people are saying that the RSI can't go lower, bro. It's RSI below 30, can't go lower, bro. It's like, no, it can definitely go lower. And you can see over here on the 12-hour, you are starting to get that 3 drives over here coming down, a very nice 3 drives as well. So that will be on my radar soon, because not only are we putting in this area right here, but we are also coming into the monthly. Let's just get in over here and go over to the monthly, and we're going to look at the monthly 55, which we spoke about yesterday as the next area to be aware of. So coming in right over here, it's actually taking a full stab down to it. Low on Bitstamp is actually 36. My God, my dyslexia is showing once again. And the 55 on the monthly is actually 3670-ish area. So again, it's not going to be exact. And when you're coming into these markets with, you know, like crazy liquidations, and when you have crazy leverage options, you know, these things are going to wick around a lot. But again, I would imagine by end of month, we probably do at least close over the 55, which would be about 3,700, we'll call it. Anyways, overall, you know, yesterday the big tell was, and again, and I want to be very open and honest with this as well, because while I was essentially, my disposition yesterday coming into the day was, well, you know, as long as you're above 6180, I have to treat this as a potential or a potential bounce area. But the second that we broke this area right here, closing this hourly dildo below, that was your big tell. Hey, no, we're going down to the next level, which was 3,700. So this is where I really want to say, hey, this is why I don't trade my opinion. My opinion's worthless. What I do trade is technical analysis. So actually didn't get in a short at this point in time. I actually had a short from 4280, somewhere right over here on this last drive, or sorry, this guy right over here, and then I closed it right before bed because, you know, just I didn't really want to have any risk going on right around there, and I still have the 6,300 short open on my streamer account. Both these trades were executed on my streamer account. And then after that, just straight on down. So when it comes down to it, that is why, again, I'm not looking to like straight up buy spot. I'm looking to close shorts. And again, we have very obvious and very well-defined ranges going on over here as well. There is no reason to really even be looking for like significant upside. I mean, significant is a relative term, right? But for me, there's no real reason to be looking for it unless you started closing dildos above 43.50-ish area. Then I just wouldn't see much stopping you from about 4,600. So $200 trade, certainly on the books. Worth closing a few shorts and maybe reloading higher. And then, 47.50, obviously a much bigger area, the one that we just spoke about, less importance to this guy right over here, because that's a high of your bounce. If you can get above the high of your bounce, well, it's a start. It's a start. You still got to deal with 5,200 right over here, which will come into play probably, not for a while. Anyways, for now, has Bitcoin, put in a low right here? I mean, you're gonna get the divergence bots going right now. Yes, this isn't hourly, so how much weight does it hold? Not much. But let's go to the daily and see if the daily is printing any divergence now. And you are maybe by the end of tonight. We're gonna have to see where this one closes. Now, again, because because we will be getting the weekly diddle close tonight. A lot of price action usually goes down before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, we have daylight savings now, so I'm aware of that. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where the weekly diddle does close. So again, a lot of things can happen before then, and as and as we just stated with the weekly, a lot of action typically does happen right before that weekly. So if Bitcoin were to close basically above about 3,800, then yes, you will get a little bit of bullish divergence on the daily. But again, remember, that would just be 2 drives. And right now, please do not take. I mean, again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I don't insinuate this or don't interpret this as me saying like this is what I consider as a good buy. No, it's perhaps a good place to consider closing some shorts. If I wanted any upside exposure, I'd just buy some 4,000 calls, which I'm actually not doing right now. Anyways, overall, 2-day over here, not going to be giving you any divergence at all whatsoever, just straight fucking down. Again, there is no limit to how low these things can go. This is your 3-day right here, even no chance for divergence either. And weekly, obviously there's going to be none as well. Although you are starting to get to the more overdone region, which on the weekly, in my experience, actually does hold weight. Now, here's the thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is its own special beast. So do I put that much weight on it? No, not as much. And I would certainly not rule out a quick flash crash. Quick is another relative term, all the way down here to the 200 simple, right around 3,100, which is kind of like the next bounce, the top of the next bounce area that I have denoted over here on stamp. So tonight's weekly close is going to be extremely important, because if Bitcoin does close below this purple 200 exponential, which is pretty much the bottom of this first blue box territory, where Bitcoin basically just bounced, like what, $600, but it got sold into relatively fast. You really wanted to not see this one break on the first pass. So if, and for all intents and purposes, it is not technically broken until 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if we close below 4,200 about. So if Bitcoin does close below 4,200, that presents us with a new scenario. So now we're going to get into like kind of the nitty gritty of this video and understand that it's going to get dense now. It's going to get dense with how we go forwards, but there's going to be a couple very, 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 very obvious and extremely good and juicy trades that I'll be looking at. Again, not a financial advisor. Anyways, so okay, if Bitcoin were to break this 4,200 level on the weekly, meaning that Bitcoin actually closes this full weekly dildo by 7 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, then I would be looking for a major short on the retest of that 200 exponential. Why am I saying that? Well, I'm saying that because maybe I just like to short this bitch. No, because first things first, if we break that on the first pass, that's going to likely become a major resistance going forwards. But not only that, we're also going to be essentially filling the gap around that area on the CMEs over here. If we go back to the CMEs, which have not been trading this weekend, they close down for the weekend. They close on Friday, late Friday, and they open up later today. They closed 42.05. So that means that if Bitcoin does close, if Bitcoin is essentially is below 4,200 before the end of the day at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which I believe CMEs open around that time, perhaps a couple hours beforehand, then also you will have a gap fill around the 4,200 level as well. So you'll have the 200 exponential and the gap fill, which is typically going to be a sell on that first pass, coming back down. And just given the whole market dynamics right now and market nature, I would be looking at this and saying, yeah, I think it's probably going to be a reversal as well. Reversal back to the downside, sorry. So again, we have that level coming in there, but that's not it. We actually have a lot more to discuss over here. Okay, so going back onto the weekly on Stamp, okay, let's go over here to 2014, right? 2014 is a very interesting market cycle because again, remember, market cycles, they're not like identical brothers, but they are like, they're like brothers in a way, they aren't like completely identical, but they do have resemblances. They do rhyme, as the saying goes. And what do we have over here? Well, in 2014, where did you bottom out? Your 886 Fibonacci retracement. Again, not my first and favorite way of doing things, but we have something interesting to consider over here. And you accumulated between your 786 and your 886. Okay, that's very interesting. Whoops, let's actually get this one right. Yeah, there we go. Now, let's go over here and kind of denote what is Bitcoin doing in 2018. Well, the 786 would be coming in right around that range as well. So now we have the 786 right around 4,200. We have the gap fill on the CMEs, which is going to be a fucking major gap now, about, what is it, like $600 now? Something like that. I mean, you never know where this thing's going to end up by 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then also the weekly 200 exponential moving average. And then also these horizontal areas right over here. But not only that, we actually are breaking now. We actually are breaking this diagonal trend line here that we've been living under. Or sorry, I actually have this. Damn it, sometimes I chart on my phone and I fucking, sometimes I chart TradingView on my phone and like I'll move something around and then I won't realize it till later. So actually I was going to say that we had broken it. No, we have not, but we're still kind of resting a little bit upon it. Let's see, can I get it exactly right? Let's see, I think it'd be right. Yeah, right around here. So we're kind of resting on it right now, which I do like, kind of coming in confluence with this horizontal right here, which also comes into confluence with our, what's it called, 55 exponential on the monthly. Jesus Christ, man, having a brain fart right now. Sorry guys, again, an early morning for myself. Volume profile over here shows something interesting as well. Again, not my first and foremost way of doing things, but when it does come into play, I do pay attention. And you got this volume node that we're kind of hanging on to right now. There is, just like when we lost 6,000 right over here, there is nothing doing all the way from our current area at about 37 to this 3,000 level right over here. But that also means that if Bitcoin were to break this area, then again, this next high volume node, that's going to likely provide some resistance going on the way back up. So a lot of things coming into that 4,200 level. We have, again, the 200 exponential moving average. We have some nice horizontals. We have the volume profile, and we have the CME gap fill, and also the 786 Fibonacci retracement, which again, that was the top of the accumulation level in 2014, if you were to make a relation between those two. So again, that kind of leads us on to our next point. If Bitcoin does break through this area right here, which we do have let's just kind of equate it to let's just equate it to this horizontal right here. I think I already have it drawn in. Yeah, there we go. It perfectly gets it right there. Beautiful, absolutely fucking beautiful. It's like I didn't rehearse or anything like that, so I like that really lines up. Okay, so if this area breaks right here, then yes, I don't really see much holding you up from about, basically low 3,000 to high 2,000 essentially. Again, this is where things get tricky though, because I'm not looking to buy there. I'm looking to close some shorts. Again, need to be very, 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 very clear about that, because I don't want that to be misconstrued. Again, this is not financial advice or anything like that, but I just don't want that to be misinterpreted as, oh, Crown's buying around there. Nope, I'm not fucking buying shit, man. I ain't buying nothing of this. I don't want no piece of this shit. But this is interesting right here. Technically speaking, I do, and again, I did say this before that I thought that we were going to bounce around 4,100. As long as 4,180 held. It did not. And I can say the same thing about this area right here. We have a few things kind of coming into this area right here. We're at the bottom of that next high volume node. So you would technically want to, test the upside of that higher volume node. Doesn't always happen though. And how you know that the next trade to the downside is to be made? Well, basically, if we close like a daily below 3,600 or wherever this horizontal officially comes in around, let's see, it would, yeah, around right here at around, yeah, 3,650, we'll call it 3,650. If you close below there, then yeah, I just don't see much holding you up from about, low 3,000s to high 2,000s as the next kind of stop. Again, this next blue box territory actually has some pretty damn good supports around here as well. Although, again, in an event like this, it's like in a bear market, there's not really such, I mean, there's such thing as support, right? But it's like the Bears are in fucking full control right now, so a lot of things can be changed, and we're also making a major assumption here. We're making the assumption that Bitcoin is actually legitimately not fucked. Now, I do believe in Bitcoin long term. I don't believe that it's legitimately fucked, but I am making that assumption here, so I need to be very clear in stating that as well. An assumption is being made that I basically don't believe that we're going to break 1,100 or 1,200, because that would actually, from a technical standpoint, really fuck this thing up. So again, coming down here, this is where it gets tricky, and things have been coming a lot faster than I think, really than I thought it would. But hey, again, I'm not a time analyst. That's fucking why I don't think that it can be done. So you got this guy right over here, this next kind of higher volume node coming in around this 886 Fibonacci retracement. Again, remember that is where we actually did bottom out on this spike low, the capitulation low in 2014. A lot of volume being done in there on the volume profile. Some nice horizontals coming in around there. And also, yes, the red 200 simple moving average as well. So, do we have anything else pointing down there? Well, I'm gonna make one more thing, which I kind of disregarded. I was disregarding it, right? I was disregarding it, but let's just make the assumption that yes, this was a descending triangle over here. Now, I still have, I'm not necessarily sure how much I believe in the volume characteristics on this. It's certainly not picture perfect or anything like that. But let's just kind of measure this guy out and see what we got. We'll go off of this. Well, let's go after the first capitulation high. Yeah, right over there. And let's see if this lines up with anything now. And just pulling it out. Uh-oh. That would be all the way down at around 600. Please don't say that, Crown. Don't say that, Crown. Let's see. Let's actually try. Did I get that right? Did I get that right? It's like, holy shit, it's so low. How is that even real? Again, trying to right back around here. Yep, it was about 600. I did not fuck that one up. So yeah, that's actually what that would be pointing towards. Again, I don't believe that this is a descending triangle, but with the way that price action is acting right now, it's pretty fucking intense. So I just wanted to present that. That would not be my first interpretation of things, but that would be like the more serious scenario where Bitcoin's actually, legitimately fucked, because it would obviously be breaking that 1,100, 1,200 area, which again, there's like an unspoken rule where you really don't want to break the high of your past prior market cycles. So in 2014, that would be about right over here, which was about 1,200, a few ticks under 1,200. So if you did start breaking below there, well, that would be the time where I'd really start to consider, don't think Bitcoin's going to be this magic internet money of the fucking future. I think it's more like Beanie Babies. So again, be aware of that. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but, it's just something I do want to consider. I always want to be asking myself, okay, where could I be wrong on this guy? Anyways, okay, so man, this month is very fucked as we do get, closer and closer to the end of the month over here. The 10 simple moving average, basically just shoving price action down. But basically, not too much else to be said about the monthly over here. Again, you are coming down to the 55, and that actually was. And again, I'm not saying that this is going to be the bottom over here or anything like that. That actually was the bottom in 2014. I do not believe that this is going to be the bottom. I believe that where's your 100 exponential coming in around 1,500. So I'll just leave that there. Terrible thing to do. Anyways, back on over here to Bitstamp. So I'm sure like a lot of people are probably wondering, are we going to bounce here or not? You are going to start printing a lot of, bullish divergences, on these time frames that everyone thinks is like a higher time frame. I do not consider a 4-hour time frame a fucking higher time frame. No, not at all. But you are going to start to get some of the divergent spots to buy it up a little bit. So we have had a little bit of a stutter here, and as we do come down to the monthly 55, and as we do come down to this horizontal level. And again, I believe that did we hit the measured move off this guy over here? We were looking at, let's go back on to GDAX. We were looking at this guy over here. as an inverted cup and handle, and I believe we probably well overshot this area actually. Again, did we? Yeah, you hit it right here, and then look at the first reaction, very good, and it just gets sold into. So again, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, yes, you likely hit the measure move, but do people try to buy these a lot of the time? And this is why I always say no. I'm looking to close shorts. You don't go against fucking trend right now. You did have a reaction there, right? You did have a reaction popping back up about a couple $100, $300, but it gets sold into right after that. Now, how much more do we have on this current drive right here? I mean, that's that's a good fucking question. But again, am I buying this? Absolutely not. In fact, I'm completely fine just leaving this short open, and it just keeps on giving another 3,300%. And that's my fucking streamer account, man. I'm just it's nice. Anyways, okay, so also Gbtc, which is closed for the weekend, which will be opening up tomorrow for Monday morning, for some Monday morning carnage. Again, we spoke about how this was not likely to be a bottoming dildo right here. This, as an inverted hammer, did not act as an inverted hammer, did not have any follow through. The volume on the next dildo, kind of taking it below, was, you know, very suspect, and going down in the lower time frames. Yeah, nothing's too impressive about this guy right over here. So again, I believe that Tony Vase bought that. Well, he's gonna wake up, and Gbtc is gonna open up somewhere down around here. Sorry, it's not gonna open up there. It's gonna open up somewhere right around here. Probably Monday morning. So again, Gbtc just making lower lows most likely. Just a full-on fucking melt over here. Not really too much else to not really any other technical analysis to do on this guy. It's very fucked. And, you know, yeah, you do have support down around here and down around here. Maybe you got to bounce around there. But again, be fucking careful, man. Be fucking careful. We are at a very critical moment. Okay, let's go check out. I want to check out some Bitcoin longs and shorts right over here. Okay, so we have about 27,000 open longs on Finex, paying a rate that's pretty much non-existent. The shorts, however, are actually paying an extremely high rate right now. And not only that, they're actually paying an extremely high rate on BitMEX. I think the highest I've ever seen it. It's almost, I believe it's like 0.28%. So to put that in perspective, if you are holding 1 million contracts short on BitMEX, you will quite literally, if it stays this way, for a 1 day period, which again, it does change every hour, so this is a little bit disingenuous to say this, but you would at that rate, you'd pay about, I don't know, 15 to 20,000 bucks just to hold your 1 million contract short right here in a 1 day period. So that is getting up there, and I think, you know, you really have to, you know, people are gonna have to consider holding that thing through funding. So I'd imagine that, you know, when you do get the new funding periods, you're gonna get a lot of movement. That is, I think it's the highest I've ever seen it. I think it's literally the highest I've ever seen it. Okay, so also on here for the shorts, shorts are actually paying 0.87%. That is certainly high for Finex. That is actually quite high indeed. And we actually do have a significant amount of shorts all the way at 33,000. And probably it's better to put that into visual interpretation right over here. Yeah, so we are above that critical level, and actually on the on TradingView over here, it shows that we actually have 34,500 open shorts rather than 33,000. So that is above the critical mark over here. But again, bears are in full control now. So this was applicable in the bull market, where it's like, hey, once you're above the bull and also consolidation area market, once you're above about 30,000 open shorts, it's, you know, too many people on the bus syndrome. But now, you know, the market cycle is different. It is not the same sort of it's bears are in full control, so they don't really, you know, yeah, you can squeeze them around here and there, and they will have to worry about funding, but you know, they will also naturally find a higher equilibrium just by the nature of the current market. Okay, so what else we have to talk about? We got, okay, yeah, let's flesh out a couple of the other ideas. So, okay, so we spoke about the really bad scenario. We spoke about the scenario of closing the weekly below 4,200. Well, what happens if we actually rally back above the 200 exponential before the weekly total close? Well, that would be a lot more confidence inducing for a big bounce. That would actually be what I need to see in order to have a big bounce. And just to kind of put it in perspective right now, and this is going to lead us into our next point just beautifully. But if we were to bounce back up to 4,200, that would literally be a 15% increase. So now you're going to have all the capitulation people come back in and say, "Hey, what's going on over here? Is this capitulation? Looks like capitulation to me. Better buy." So we'll probably have a nice bounce off of that. And yes, it would actually look like capitulation if that were to happen, but. In leading into the next point now, why is this unlikely to be capitulation? Well, again, when you hang out the lows like this and these are hourly dildos right here for 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5 hours, giving you 5 fucking hours to buy the bottom. No, absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. That diminishes its chances of being capitulation by too much for me to be to really even consider it. I mean, okay, that's a bad way to say it. Of course, you should always consider it, right? But it would really diminish its fucking chances, in my opinion. Markets are not that generous. Markets give you about 15 to 30 minutes to buy the ultimate low, not hours, not literally 5 hours. So, yes, you will get people saying that. And just like in 2014, when people thought that perhaps this was the capitulation right here, because you actually did have a pretty good reaction off the bottom. Another 15%. Ooh, that's nice. Just from wick to dildo body, by the way, not even the whole thing. It eventually just kind of peters out and fails. And over here in the ultimate capitulation of 2014, you actually moved from wick to dildo body, literally not even the whole dildo, but wick to dildo body, you moved almost 38%. And if we were to go, to the next dildo body, it was 66%. So relatively quickly. So again, keep in mind these sorts of things. A lot of work needs to be done if that's going to be the case. Is this capitulation volume down around here? This is down on the exchange Bitstamp, by the way. I would argue unlikely to be, as again, this volume over here in February is much higher. And remember, these are measured in coins traded, not dollars traded. So if the price over here was much higher, well, this is like, twofold maybe volume of what we're doing over here, as your average price was somewhere right around, actually somewhere right around like 8,000 or so. So, right over here when our average price is like maybe 4,500, well, yeah, it's about 2 times, right? And it's still higher. So that is something worth considering as well. Okay, what else we have? Oh yeah, let's go check out Google Trends, because I actually do care about this. I think it's actually quite interesting to look at. It's actually, but Bitcoin's quite trending up right now. We're looking at the past 5 years history right here. Worldwide. Oh my God. Fuck it. I'm not even gonna say that word. But basically, we're at 14 interest right now, after getting all the way down to about 7. So yeah, we do have support around 7, right around here. But hey, this is interesting to me. This is very interesting to me, as people are getting the word, and as you can see, when Bitcoin actually does get into these, this was 2014 over here. It never really peaked up. The interest never really peaked up. Whereas over here, it actually kind of is. Now you do have a little bit of resistance at like 20. No, of course not. But hey, it is something. It is something of interest when Bitcoin starts to get back up into like the right over here, like the 30s to 40s to 50s. That's where I actually would start to say, hey, maybe you actually do have maybe you do have something interesting in the works. But for now, again, for much further away from there. I think probably just people Googling it because they hear on CNBC like, Bitcoin's dying once again. So here we go. Some more fucking blood. How to short Bitcoin is going to be interesting as well, I'm sure. How to short the cone. There you go. All right. And what does this point up? So it's actually not that interesting right over here. People are not that interested in shorting just yet. They're really interested in, funnily enough, really fucking interested in December of last year. Isn't that interesting? Actually, that got the top for you. How to short Bitcoin got the fucking top for you. Isn't that fucking interesting? Let's just see how to long Bitcoin. I'm just curious. How to long or how to buy. Yeah, it's probably going to be better. Like, a retailer guy is not going to say long. He's going to say buy probably. Not about the same time as well. So, okay, so that kind of negates that whole theory. Again, no interest right now. Alrighty, back now over here. Okay, so we've covered, I think I've said most of the things I want to say on Bitcoin. Let's go over here to the 3-day. 3-day is interesting to me as well, just because you're very likely to get a 3-day dildo death cross on the exponentials, the green 55 and the purple 200. That will be the second time in Bitcoin's 10-year history or whatever year history that has actually happened right over here. which actually did get you your ultimate capitulation red dildo death in 2014. So, just something of interest. It will happen likely in the next, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks. Very, 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 very likely, barring any sort of rally back above 6,000 in the meantime. But as long as you don't do that, very likely to get it. Okay, let's go check out our oscillators. So even our oscillators on our higher time frames right here, they have plenty of room to go down. This is your 3-day Stokes right here. They are just getting into the more critical zone, but again, they can stay there. And when things are trending, they will fucking stay there, just like they stayed all the way up here during the bull run of 2014. Again, this was literally, sorry, this was this part over here. Sorry, I know that you can't see it actually, because I have my Stokes at the top, which is actually hidden by my banners, but just trust that was actually what you're looking at in on the bull run. And yes, you bet that they can do the same thing on the downside as well. So just the fact that we're barely cracking into this area right now, it's like, all right, are we gonna start trending now or two? It's like, Jesus, man. This is 2-day right here, getting in there as well, pretty good. What about weekly? Weekly actually just cracking it as well. And what about the monthly? I'm curious what the monthly says. Yeah, getting all the way down there. Okay, so we've been speaking about this for a while too. This is, again, not my favorite way of doing things, not something that I really put too much attention on. But let's go look at the Trollinger bands, because we have something very interesting over here, and something that's pretty fucking bad to say the least. Okay, so again, if you're not familiar with the Trollinger bands, I actually do have a video on how to use them. Again, not my favorite way of doing things, but there is something very interesting with what we see over here. Okay, so this midline right here, this is a 20 simple moving average. It looks like a fucking skid mark because it's a shit stain, and right now Bitcoin is acting like a shit stain. And what we have done is we have actually both opened. We opened below this moving average right here, and it's very likely, I'd say, that in the next 5 days, when November's over, that we're going to close below it as well. So that means that we'll both open and close below the medium band on the Trollinger bands, which is which is a confirmed kill for the Trollinger bands. And typically denotes a test for the lower band. After that, do you always test the lower band after that? No, you don't. You definitely did not in 2014. But I just, I thought that I'd bring that up. I do not think that we're going to be testing the lower band over here. It's literally at like $250, so I don't think it's likely to happen. You did not do that in 2014 either. I mean, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. It's probably so annoying too. But all the way down here, your lower band was at like $1 in 2014. It wasn't fucking getting there. I don't think it's gonna get there either here. But again, it's one of those things where it's telling you that, hey, we're gonna likely spend a lot of time below this 20 simple moving average right here. Again, in 2014, when you actually cracked that for the first time and started opening and closing dildos below it, well, once that 20 simple got above, once the skid mark got above, that was kind of the capitulation, accumulation, and then re-up of Bitcoin. So keep your eye on that as well. Also power similar to the 21 exponential moving average on the monthly, which we're likely to break as well for the first time ever since 2014. And again, that will also be my sort of overall marker for, hey, are we generally bullish or generally bearish? And if we can get back above it, which again, I don't think is happening anytime soon, perhaps I won't say times. I don't think that's necessary to just destroy more hopes and dreams, but I'll just leave it like that. Overall, not good. Let's go over here to the weekly. Weekly is probably a little bit, the weekly is very interesting to me as well, because very rarely do you ever push the bands to the downside and like close. And sorry, very rarely, just in general, not whether it's upside or downside, but very rarely do you actually even close a dildo like outside of the bands. You did in this bull run over here, in this bull run over here, you didn't really close them outside to the down, or sorry, yes, you did close them to the downside a couple times, one right here and one right here in 2014. But we're gonna very likely close below this again. The lower band is coming in around 4,800. So again, it's just kind of pushing more and more. And what does that tell you? It actually tells you that we're trending. Yes, of course, you don't need me to fucking tell you that. Of course, I completely understand that. But it does insinuate that there's more to go, essentially. It's not really until we start closing back inside this band that you would likely get at least a little bit of sideways to probably a test of the 20 simple, which is all the way around here, around 64.50, which tells me that that's very unlikely to happen anytime soon. So probably more trending down as well. Again, just kind of getting into it. I'm not trying to be an asshole to anyone here. I'm not trying to make anyone panic or anything like that. Just giving perspective on things to look for. Again, if the weekly does, find its way back above the 200 exponential by the end of the day, a lot, the whole picture could look a lot more easy. Kind of. Kind of, not really, not really. I get it. It's not fucking easy, but just trying to make people feel better over here. Jesus Christ, man. Anyways, if you could close back above the 200 exponential by the end of the day, then yes, I do believe very, very strongly that you would get a test into the higher 4,000s to low 5,000s. Oh my God, bad time to have a slip of tongue. So again, be aware of that. But 7 p.m. Eastern time, so TikTok on the clock. We've all seen Bitcoin have more crazy moves and a 15%. Well, 15% moves pretty fucking crazy. But you just got one to the downside. Why can't you get one to the upside? Oh, because we're in a fucking bear market, huh? Sorry, crypto Reddit didn't tell you about that. Now, did they? Anyways, okay, so that's what I'm looking at over there. I do want to bring up this indicator as well. Again, not something that I watch too often, or even put too much weight. Or no, I do put weight on it, but it's just there's not really a reason to watch it too often. But this is your weekly accumulation distribution indicator down here, the net delta indicator, and basically we are just fucking nosediving right now. Again, Bitcoin, very rarely has really even ticked in the red before. I mean, you had a prolonged period in 2014, and a little bit in basically March and February of 2018, but we are fucking nosediving right now. And again, I only care about the slope on this guy. I don't care about if it's red or green. I mean, yes, it kind of does insinuate that maybe it does end soonish. But overall, I care a lot more about the slope. And as you can see, whenever the slope gets like this, it ain't fucking good. So again, I'll just kind of leave it like that. Monthly over here, because again, we will be getting a new monthly tick relatively soon, in the next week. The monthly is still just completely fucking, nosediving right now. Again, the only time that you've ever done anything like that was in 2014. So insinuating that likely to extend that more over time. Again, I do think it's very likely that you do get a bounce here. But if 4,200 is resistance going forwards and Bitcoin, so here's what I think is the most likely thing to happen right now in the more immediate time frames. I think, and again, I'm not a fucking financial advisor. Okay, so I do think it's very likely that Bitcoin bounces right here on the 55 exponential moving average. Again, this is on a monthly. It's done on a monthly time frame. So by end of month, you'd probably see a little bit of a bounce going over here. However, I do think now that 4,200 is going to be an incredible resistance going forwards. I think it's going to be a very, very big resistance going forwards. And we probably do, we probably don't revisit that area. I mean, we probably revisit that area, but we probably don't get above it, essentially your weekly 200 exponential moving average anytime soon. Again, this is also your 786 Fibonacci retracement, also these horizontal levels right here, and also the volume profile kind of coming in right around there as well. You can't see it too well on the weekly. But hey, that is actually the top of your accumulation phase in 2014 as well. And you did test it a couple times, so I do think that it's likely to get tested. But I do think that you bounce here and you start putting in a little bit of like dribble and then start to fill this area out most likely. Again, remember there is a loss of. I mean, basically you have no volume. Like your volume profile is dead once again once you lose this, like literally the bottom of this area that we're currently in around 3650ish area, all the way down to about high 2000s. Essentially is where it comes in next. So be aware of that. That's what I think is most likely. 4,200 becomes a very strong resistance going forwards here. You really did not want to see this break on the first pass. It's not a good sign. Yes, a lot of things can happen before 7 p.m. Eastern time tonight, and very possible. But again, making the assumption that we actually do close below that area, I would be looking to sell that on the next pass most likely. Let's go over here to the MVT signal. IVT signal nosediving again. I have been disregarding this more recently, and this thing. I mean, maybe I was just completely wrong about that, but basically, you know, is hanging around here for so fucking long, and then just completely nosedive after that. Well, again, I've heard that the liquid sidechain launch kind of fucked around with the metrics on this guy, so I'm not sure how much weight to really put on it. The guy who made this actually literally came out and said that, so you know, I'd probably go with him most likely, but. And again, not my first way of doing things, but I do want to be interested when this thing does come down to like these more critical levels that it had bottomed out in the past at. So again, I'll just kind of leave it with that. I think I've spoke on everything that I want to really speak on. I mean, I guess we can go over the alts for just 1 second over here because I mean, if Bitcoin's, you know the fucking story. If Bitcoin's not looking good, the alt's not going to look good either. Mr. Beaterall, next support I have. Well, this is actually a range, and I completely missed the top side of this. It's 104, which we actually did get down to. Buck higher, that's close enough. But basically this area right here between about 90 and 104, if that area fails, then I don't see much stopping from this next area over here. Let me just get that. Yeah, there we go. And this would be well into this into the double digits. Down around $60 to about 50-ish bucks. So that'd be kind of how I see that one going. You know, again, I do think that Bitcoin kind of probably does get a little bit of a bounce here. It's got to at least try. It's got to at least, you know, give people a semblance of hope. Otherwise, all right, you know, it's like, well, I guess I'll just keep on holding on this short, man. Okay, so let's go check out XRP really quick. I'm sure a lot of people are interested in that. XRP breaking the critical level that we spoke about, 38 cents. We spoke about coming into last week that once you lost this area right here, the 48-cent area, you know, it's probably going to join the rest of the market, and now it has. Again, not fucking good, man. Not fucking good. Yes, you do have support in this region right here, but I don't, you know, I don't want to insinuate that I'd ever be thinking about buying this area. You know, it's more than likely that you do revisit your prior lows right around 27 cents. And, you know, if Bitcoin starts breaking lower, you know, this one will very likely too. We don't have any semblance of decoupling yet. I know a lot of people like to talk about it, but hey, you know, the charts don't show that just yet. Until it happens, I'll be running with that assumption. Litecoin back below 30, back below $30. Jesus Christ, man. And my next support there is about $25. Although, you know, this whole area right here, I really should have marked out. This is just an order block, essentially, coming into this area right here. So it's really all support. So it's, you know, it can bounce anywhere within there. So it kind of does line up with what Bitcoin's doing right now. But overall, you know, Litecoin definitely the worst of the top of the big three. Just complete fucking nosedive all the way through. I mean, there's not really such a thing as support in a pump and dump like this. Quite literally, you know, just that rolling hills over a long period of time. So again, you know, coming into this range right over here, if you do break 24, let's call it $24.50, then I don't see anything holding you up from, you know, the teens essentially. And if that area fails, you know, $14 and then single digits, but you'll have triple digits if you include the decimal points. So that's always, you know, you got to think positive. Sorry. Again, I understand that a lot of people are going through like extremely hard times. Please do not take me like making a joke of it as me trying to belittle anything, you know, that's going on in your life. I do apologize about that. Please do not take that personally. It's not intended to, but you know, you just have to have a fucking laugh when you see shit like this going on, man, just because, well, if you don't, man, it's gonna be fucking depressing. Again, for me, life is a lot easier when Bitcoin goes up because, you know, I do this as a living. So it's, you know, just trading is, I mean, you don't really have to trade. You just you actually can just BTFD and it's relatively okay. But right now, you know, I've actually had to work and it's been fun. But again, you know, I like a bull market too. You know, don't take this as me like just being a fucking perma bear. There will be a point where hopefully there will be a point where I am bullish. I'll put it that way. You don't want to speak in absolutes, of course. So again, that's going to probably do it. Well, let's actually flesh out these lower time frames right here. We actually do have a few things to be looking at. Okay, so it does look to me like Bitcoin's going to try right here. Again, your next resistance is currently where we're at right now. You've had a couple tries above, you know, 1, 2, 3 big wicks above, 36.72 on MEX. If you can break out above there, I don't see much stopping you from about 3,800. A few ticks below 3,800, which would put us comfortably above that 55 exponential on the monthly. So again, kind of, you know, fleshing that bounce-ish idea out. Man, this one just came all the way all the way down and just did not even, I mean, it gave you a bounce, gave you a chance, and then just fucking shot right through it again. And again, 4,200, again, my next level. I'm just going to get rid of this guy. You know, it did provide a little bit of area right there. But again, just things just absolutely fucking accelerating well past that. But again, Jesus Christ, I keep on saying that. Sorry, I don't mean to be redundant, but this is important right here. 4,200 right here. That is the next big resistance that I'll be looking towards. As long, you know, if Bitcoin, again, to basically close down this video, if Bitcoin can close above 4,200, the overall picture could be a lot less bleak. You know, we'd probably put in a lot of time filling out the space between high 4,000s and low 5,000s for a little bit of time. And I do believe that you'd have a significant bounce at that point, but I think that it's more likely that you do close below the 200 exponential on the weekly, and that we do start, you know, we do probably retest 4,200, but it's probably gonna be a big sell in my opinion. You know, if you do want to trade the lower time frames, which I would not, absolutely fucking not in this in this market right here. You know, even as a professional trader, I don't have any interest in doing this. I'm just managing my short positions from higher. That's all. You know, if you do break back above 3,800, I don't see much stopping me from this area right here, you know, 4,150 to 4,200. So I would be looking for there. You know, keep in mind the CME gap. I want to see where they open today. Keep in mind the weekly 200 exponential moving average. Keep in mind just the weekly close in general. I'd really be going off the higher time frames here. Yes, you know, we can show the lower time frames. That's great. And if we do break this area, you know, there ain't nothing holding you up from like 3,200-ish area. I believe we saw the weekly 200 simple. So that's going to do it for this morning, guys. I hope this one finds you well. Hope you're doing well in this bear market. Hope you're doing just well in life anyways. And I'll be back on, maybe I might be back on later. I'm not sure if we have some more price action, but I'll definitely be back on tomorrow. So I look forward to speaking with you guys. And holy shit, man, I fucking forgot again. My God. All of my programs, the technical analysis program, the options program, and the Jewel Indicator Mastery program are also on sale for Black Friday with the code BF20. That is capital B, capital F, and then 20 for 20% off on all of those. Definitely check them out. The links are in the description of this video. Check out the reviews. Make sure that's for you. And I'll be having that going for the rest of the month. Anyways, again, I hope this one finds you well, and I'll speak with you guys soon. Take care.